and I don't wanna shoot ya. I've been waiting for a long time, and I'm coming back to get what's mine. I'm sick of living with your little double faces. I'm getting itchy and so livid I can taste it. I've been waiting for a long time, and I'm swinging till I get what's mine. But I'm not going down. I'm not going down. I'll be the last man standing. The last man standing.
Hi, good evening and welcome to the final round of season number 9 from RTO League Racing then over on ACC. And we are at Imola. It's cold, but it's dry. And the drivers are ready to do battle one more time. We just want to say thank yous to our sponsors, PC Creations. We build your dream. We also have Assetto Sim Sports and obviously SimGrid, where we host our league racing on. Thank you so much for all of your support. Track Racer and Track Titan. Definitely look into Track Titan. Use the code LINKCTT to get 30% off and a month free if you do that, with also lovely stickers and CD keys as well. Let's just bring in to the championship standings. Thomas Lovrick, champion for the AM, so he is just racing for fun, and along with Daniel Solis and Nigel Woodcote. Simon Crett as well, also looking to have a much stronger finish to the season. See if we can get into those top 3 slots. So definitely it's still all to play for. Who's going to come in second? So in this race, keep your eye on Daniel, Nigel Woodcote, Simon Crett and Lucas Tresser as well. Daniel Slatnik had a really good race in round number 3, but unfortunately wasn't able to take part in round number 4, so keep an eye on him. And also Sokolovsky as well with us in the Aston, the only Aston, so keep an eye on what he's able to do. In the Silvers, we are still all to play for. Levy Jennings has a 7-point lead in the championship above Christoph Holzer. So keep an eye on this. Jennings in the GTR Nissan and Holzer in the 992 Porsche. But even closer of a gap between 2 and 3 is Ivaz van Sander in the BMW. So it's still all to play for in the top 3 of the silver standings. Dreambound not able to join us, or Marshall Snaithman not very well and obviously pulled out of the league anyway. And Tom Solis just looking to have a good fight between now and the end of the season. Had a couple of good results in round number 2 and round number 3, but that non-start last week will change everything for him. But he can still do a decent, he can still potentially get into the top 3 if he has a good race today. And then finally in the pros, Dan Watts is 4 points ahead of Matt Whitburn, and all RTO push to see who is going to take the championship, the final one in the pros, and it's between the 2 RTO drivers, with Liam Page just back in P3, looking to hold off Ben Nergard and Sigurd Resvik in 5th and 6th respectively, to see who is going to come in the top 3 of the pros. And don't ever count out Paul Sadlowski in that Mustang. Had a really good round number 3 at Suzuka, and obviously at Imola still with the P5 as well. So I'm sure there'll be a lot to play for as we move throughout the rest of this race. There's still loads to happen. Lesser, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're good. Hope everyone else is good in the chat. And if you are looking to come and join us, we will be looking to see get some leagues started in AC Evo once it is up and running next year. But there will be a bit of a hiatus from ACC for RTO, and we're just moving into quali, so we will now bring you some of that live action from the track when it loads up. Give it a second, it will do it. I promise. There we go. So we will see some action in a second. Let's just get the leaderboard up for you. The best lap as well, so that goes up, and your corner names in the bottom right hand corner, just so you can keep up with where we are, or me, I can keep up with where we are. So let's go see. These are the AMs for the first 10 minutes. They get the first 10 minutes of the show, and we are on looking at Simon Crett, who we mentioned earlier, has an outside chance of getting into the top 4. Not an outside chance, definitely got a chance of getting into the top 3. So we will definitely keep an eye on that for this race. Bear with me one sec. There we go. So Simon Crett, 35 points, 6 points off of Nigel Woodcote in P3, so definitely has a good chance of jumping up if he can have a strong race today. And that Beamer is very, very quick around Imola. It's very suited to this track, so expecting Dan Watts in the pros to have a good race as well. But never, ever count out Matt Whitburn, Mr. Speed himself, who pushes Dan all the way in every single season he's raced at with RTO so far. So be interested to see how that unfolds. If you're looking at the top thinking why everyone's still in the pits, the first 10 minutes are for AMs only, and then the final 10 minutes are for silver and pros, or your white banner up on the left hand side. So yeah, keep an eye on that. And what we'll do is we'll get some data for you once it allows me to. There we go. So some of the session best relatives will start to appear as we get going. Go, Spoon. It's a shame you didn't join us for this season, my friend. How are you? Good to see you. So, Simon Cret is starting his lap, and he is the first one to do so. Thomas Loverick behind him in the Porsche in the background there. Backed off at the end of that lap to give himself a bit of space. And I've just driven this Porsche around here, and it's not fun unless you've got a setup. I was using the default aggressive setup, and I must admit, not the best. So I'm sure Thomas Loverick will put on a much better show than I have. I'm very well, Spoon. I'm very well. Hey, Subsy, how's it going? I haven't done the race today, which is a shame. Been a bit busy today over on LMU, but we'll have to look and see if we can do that. I might try a race after this. We'll see. Yeah, good man. Yeah, I mean we're looking at options. Definitely Evo. LMU will be dependent on player base, obviously. But I think as a team we're going to start looking at iRacing to do some racing in that. And the way Automobilista has now been updated, you never know. We might even dabble in something like that. So we'll see. We will see what the future holds for us here at RTO. But definitely we will be back doing leagues in the middle of next year. It's going to be a while, so I hope you guys will stick with us. But we'll try and bring back some of the good stuff like the trophies that we used to have. And yeah, we'll see where we get to. So. Final couple of corners for Simon Cret. And nice and steady, but I think Loverick's catching him on this lap. I think you can visually see it, so maybe this is just another... I'm thinking I'm visually seeing it, but never know. Yeah, I know it's getting a lot of good reports. So, first lap, a 1:42.0. And Loverick didn't. He was 0.6 slower. I did Cret a disservice there. I do apologise. So, yeah, Cret had a really good first lap. But he's run a bit wide into turn 1 there. So we will come back to him in a little second. Daniel Zlatnik crosses the line for his first go. He's obviously made a mistake because it was a 49.6, but it didn't count. So he's obviously gone off the track. And that's not the right livery. Why is that not the right livery? All the other liveries are working. We don't see a Snail Esports livery on there. Daniel Solis up into P2. Sokolovsky in P4 at the moment. And if I am saying anyone's names wrong, I do apologise. You'll get used to me. I obliterate everyone's names. I am British after all. I say the words as we say them in England. I don't even attempt to do it in your language, your native language, because I'd make even more of a butcher of it, I think. So let's have a look at... Sokolovsky in the Aston Martin. Good colour scheme on that. It's got a bit of purple. That's all about me. Really good to see the Aston Martin on. Ooh, working the steering wheel. It's getting a bit unhappy on the throttle there. Maybe the tyre's not up to pressure and temperature just yet. It's very cold. I think the track temperature's about 12 degrees, something like that. 13 degrees, so it's very, very cold. So up to Variante Alta over the curbs. Aston Martin looking really good there. Could have gone a bit... Yeah, you kind of have to really throw it over that inside curb. You have to just believe it's going to stick. And then you tend to... it tends to do what you need it to. So next time maybe. So Cret's just gone a bit quicker. 4/10 is the gap at the top. Daniel Solis in P2 in the championship. Trying to make sure he stays there. Now Lucas Tressa, the other BMW, just popping it right in at the top. Here we go with Lucas Tressa. And yeah, a really good lap. 4/10 to the good. So someone's been doing some practice. Really good to see Tressa up there again. Veteran of RTO leagues. Daniel Solis up to P4 at the moment. So Nigel Woodcut's managed to jump Daniel. So Nigel Woodcut doing a good lap. 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th all covered by a 10th. Pretty much throw a blanket over them at this point. 3 minutes 18 seconds to go. So they'll probably get another couple of laps in each. Coming down to Variante Alta. Chicane, how does he take the chicane? Rides the curb. Yeah, attacks the curb, and that's where he gained a lot of time. Sokolowski needs to... Oh, that was someone off the track. I think that was someone off the track. I might have just been imagining that, but it looked like it. But yeah, Sokolowski just needs to attack at that corner a bit better. Just believe it will stick. And I'm sure he will find a bit of time. Maybe even have enough time to jump across from Daniel Zlatnik. Short Althusis, right? This guy, brand new to sim racing, is just popped in one of the best laps he has done. And he is now P4 in class in the Porsche, although very, very slightly through turn 1. I can tell you now he's lost 7 tenths, 8 tenths now, 9 tenths. So he's lost a lot of time in that first couple of corners. So I'm sure he'll be wanting to improve on the next lap. He will get one more, although that is, yeah, too much. There is a thing called carrying too much speed and excitement and exuberance, and I think that was the best demonstration I've seen of it this season. He has been getting very quick each week, and he's doing a lot of work with people, and people have been really kind helping him out in the league chat. He might want to move out the way of Daniel here, because Daniel's on a lap and he's not, and he's getting blue flags. He does need to move here, otherwise that is basically class as blocking, because he is now, yeah, he's all over the place, and Daniel's unfortunately getting held up here. And I think Daniel's now aborted his lap, because he was up as well. He was up 3 tenths on that lap, which would have put him a lot closer to Daniel and Short himself. So getting quicker, but also needs to remember other people are on the track in qualifying. So we'll see how he goes. Right. No one is improving at the moment. Thomas Loverick coming through the final corner. Needs to find a couple of tenths on his final run if he's going to do anything. Let's get an onboard from Daniel. I still think the Porsche sounds one of the best in this game. This man races for RTO and he races in VR. Now he's found a 10th in the first sector. So, just to let you know, Lucas Dresser has boxed, so he will not get another lap. This is the final lap that Loverick will manage to be able to complete. At the moment, he's on purple first sector. You can see around his name, there's a purple lap, purple flashing box. Simon Crett is also on a much better lap. Nigel Woodcock has unfortunately binned his lap, so he won't be able to complete that one, but he should cross the line to start another one now, so he will be the last one across the line, Nigel Woodcock, and everyone else will everyone else will have to finish these laps, and that'll be it. So yeah, I'm just watching the times. So Loverick is still on a purple best, as you can see through on the left hand side. He's gained again over the chicane. Championship winner of season 9 looking to put a mark on it. Just like watching Loverick, because he is really smooth at the wheel. Comes out the corner. He's lost a 10th. Is he going to manage to do it? He needs 2 tenths just over, and he is going to do it. He's taking the shortest line to the grid. Simon Crett does nip up a little bit, but Thomas Loverick does stick it on to pole position, and the only person that can potentially do that is the other Porsche driver of Nigel Woodcock for Team Snell Esports. He is on a lap, but unfortunately at the moment it's not bettering his time. He is net level with his best time, and I think that's too wide, is it? Maybe not. I think he might be alright. But at the moment, Thomas Loverick from Lucas Trass is Simon Crett, and he's not improving, so I think Nigel Woodcock will stay 4 unless he has a monster final 2 corners to find 4 tenths. I don't think he's going to do that. Short Althusis P5. That is a fantastic result. In front of veteran of RTO, Daniel Solis, and Daniel Zlatnik, and then Michael Sokolowski. Only less than 1500ths of a second behind Daniel Zlatnik. So that would be a good scrap for the lead of for the final positions in Pro. And just looking at people like refs still in the pits at the moment. So Maxim Roland is going to be the first one. Didn't manage to take part last week, but is with us this week, taking his drop round for last week. So once everything's all said and done, He wants to try and beat, well, if he has a good result here, if he can beat Ben Nergard and Paul Sadlowski, then he could jump up to P5 in the championship. So, so it could be a good chance for that one. McLaren going nice and taking a good turn through the hairpin of Tosa. Up the hill. Takes the right kink, and then it's Perialta. Some of the best names in racing are definitely in Italian tracks, without question. So he is going to be the first person to cross the line. Around Ravazza and onto the straight. That's very tidy. That's going to be a tidy little lap. This should go straight to the top of the times. Liam Page in the background following him in the Mustang. Refs finally comes out of the pits in the RTO BMW. So yeah, Liam Page goes straight to the top, but unfortunately Roland must have gone off the track because he did not count that one, but Liam Page did in the Ford Mustang. Let's go. Absolutely. Well done. One day of practice. What you could have done with two, sir. Awesome job, man. Well done. Subsy, we're good, mate. We're good. So Liam Page from Paul Sadlowski. That's a good little fight going to brew through this race. Watch that one. The two Mustang drivers in the pros. Tom Solis, still P6, obviously. Sorry, he's dropped it into P6. Twin brother of Daniel. Van Seda is the one to look for in the silvers. Definitely one to keep an eye on. He is P3 in the championship. Needs 10 points. Well, to outscore Levy Jennings by 10 points today, which is definitely doable. But Levy Jennings in the GTR, very, very quick driver. So be interesting to see how that thing handles around Imola. 41.8 at the moment. He needs to find 0.3 of a second. You can start to see these times now very close together. Ben Nergard pops it into P3 in the pros and overall in the Mercedes. Half a second back. Yo, Dreambound, hope you're feeling better, buddy. Michael Tack, how you doing? Why'd you suck, sir? Never surrender. Just keep moving forward, buddy. That's all you can do. Take one step forward. So Tom Lesser is on a good lap. P11 at the moment. And where did he go? P8. So, yeah, that's a good result. P8 overall. And Sander, P4 at the moment in that BMW. That's a hell of a lap. I tell you, that's going to be difficult for anyone to beat. Paul Sadlowski is behind him at the moment. Maybe Jennings going to cross the line, takes 0.3 up, so he's going to move him up to P10 overall. That's P4 in class. I think he needs to finish on the podium if he wants to guarantee his title today. That's all he needs to do, I think. Just laying in bed. Oh, I hope you feel better too, man. Look, Michael, you just need to... You need to take that chicane a bit more aggressive. I said it in the race. Sorry, in the quali we watched you. We were on board. And you don't take enough speed through that chicane. Don't go doing it in the race too much. But you need to sort of attack it more. And it will tend to glide over the curbs. So who else are we looking to see at the moment? Van Sander's not on a better lap. This man is. Paul Sadlowski. Come around the final couple of corners. This will pop him right up into the top 4 positions. Maybe top 5, but I think it will be top 4. Oh no, he's lost a 10th, so it will be top 5. Oh no, he does, but wow. Wow. 1500ths of a second, guys. That's all it is. Matt Whitburn takes the lead in the pros. That's a massive thing for the title championship. Whoever finishes out of those two in P1 wins the title. This is where it's meant to be, not in Formula 1. We don't wait until we don't get it done in the 3rd round or the middle of the season. We wait to the final part of the season to find out who is going to be the championship winners in Pro and Silver. AMS has been done and dusted, but we've still got lots to see. Ryan McCord, by the way, this week lost all his points because he changed from the Bentley to the BMW. Just have some, just try it. But look, if you keep your pace, you'll be having a good fight with the people with you. So just watch what happens in front of you, and I guarantee you that'll give you a good chance to move forward. Just try to keep your car as is. Good to see James Rawlins SOP once again with us. Our friends over at SOP were looking to join some of their iRacing leagues in 2025, so looking forward to partnering up with their leagues again. If you are into iRacing, definitely check SOP out. They do, well, they did some of the best ACC leagues without question, and now, in my opinion, do some of the best iRacing leagues as well. So definitely keep an eye out for SOP. Oh, he really there you go. Let's see, in the Aston, really taking the curb nice and heavy. It's gained him a 10th. It's going to put him, I mean, this is all between him and Ryan. I tell you, Paul Cook and Paul Whitburn are also, I tell you, this is going to be so close, this quali. This is going to be really, really close. Just trying to expand some things here. It's going to be extremely tight in that midfield. Look at it. It is so, so close. Jennings boxed. And that's it. So Jennings boxed. Paul Cook was on a better lap, but then I think he went too wide. And that been that. So the only person that's potentially going to improve is Paul Whitburn for RTO. Is he going to get across the line and improve? He does. He does pit Paul Cook and moves up into P13. Maxim Roll in P6, Liam Page P5. Paul Sadlowski has pipped him by 15. All this 1500ths of a second everywhere. Sigurd Refsvik only just under a 10th back from Dan Watts. But tell you what, Dan Watts is on an absolute flyer. You can see the purple box around his name. Is he going to manage to take it away from Matt Whitburn? He's still up. Matt Whitburn is not improving on this lap, and he's further down the road. So it's all down to whether Dan can do it. He's so close. It keeps dipping between purple and green. And he's just lost a bit of time running through the chicane. And I think that's just going to stop him. He needs an absolute monumental final 2 corners here as we go into Ravazza 1. He's still up. It's not purple yet. It's now purple. He's just managed to gain enough time. This is going to be thousandths of a second, guys. If he crosses a line here and goes to P1, it's going to be thousandths of a second. Take the shortest line to the grid, and he's just going to cross the line. He's crossing the line now. He's going to make it into P1 by just 25 hundredths of a second. That is so close between these guys. The two championship drivers going at it. Ivan Van Seder for Silver is doing a sterling job and marking up his territory in that. Tom Lesser in P2 in front of Levy Jennings. Levy Jennings did what he needed to do. He's P3 in class. That's where he needs to stay. And he's got a good chance of winning the Silvers in his first attempt. That was a great job from these guys. Tom Solis is the last one, I think. He's crossed the line, P10. And I think that is, apart from Christoph Holzer, sorry. Christoph Holzer crossing the line. His final card across the line. Does he improve? No, he does not. So he stays, I believe that is last in the silver class, but he will not stay there, trust me. Christoph Holzer second in the championship standings. I think keep an eye on this man in the race. He's like me. He races better than he qualifies sometimes, so keep an eye on where he will finish in this race, because he will be one to watch, I promise. But at the front in the pros, Dan Watts is the man. Dan the man in the RTO BMW. So we'll definitely have to see what's going to happen in this race, because it is going to be so tight. So what we'll do is we will go through the grid walk, ladies and gentlemen. Let me do... Sorry, 1 second. There we go. Right, so we have Dan Watts on pole position for RTO in front of his teammate and championship rival Matt Whitburn in the RTO lovely coloured Honda, which was done by his daughter. His daughter told him to have those colours, so that's what he's done. Sigurd Refsvik on row 2 for front row and second row lockout on RTO with Paul Sadlowski in the Mustang. That's definitely not a Porsche, Joe. Alongside him, but further back, P5 from Liam Page SOP in the Mustang, looking to have a good little fight with the guys ahead of him. Definitely one to watch, along with Maxime Roland for Rebellion Autosports. Then comes the first of the silvers with a great quality is Ivans van Seder P7 in front of pro driver and RTO driver Ben Nergaard in the Mercedes. Was doing some iRacing yesterday, so he's obviously a little out of sorts. We'll let him go off. Tom Lesser is P9. That is a really good result for him, and he'll be looking to take the title challenge to the end as much as he can, and to have his say. We had Tom Solis in front of Levy Jennings. So Levy Jennings really needs to have a good race here. He needs to finish on the podium to make sure he wins the title. James Rawlins for SOP in front of Ryan McCord, who switched cars, as we said earlier, to the BMW from the Bentley. In front of Paul Whitburn. He'll be hoping that no one wants to take a chunk out of his car this week. He's had someone hit him in every single race on the first lap. So he'll hope that people like Paul Cook behind him and Thomas Loverick will not be looking to make contact with him as we move through the first lap of the race. And then we've got Christoph Holzer, who's a little bit out of position in the silvers in front of Lucas Tresser for P2 in the AMS, behind Thomas Loverick, who was P1. They've got Simon Kret, who has a car I believe you need to watch out for in this race. I think he is one of the dark horses to maybe win in the AMS. Nigel Woodcock in the Porsche for Team Snell Esports in front of Shord Althusis. Although I know I keep saying your name wrong, I do apologise, but that is a hell of a quali lap from yourself. So I hope you have a good race. Daniel Solis be looking to move forward here as well. Another guy I think is out of position, so keep an eye on him. Daniel Zlatnik in front of Michael Sokolowski, rounding off the grid. Now, who do you think is going to be number one in the pros, ladies and gentlemen? Let's talk now. Let's get you guys your feedback. What do you think? Who do you think is going to be the guy or girl to win the season? Who do you think is the person that is going to put their mark on the final round of RTO in ACC? Because I'll be damned if I know. I'm not going to lie. So we will do as we normally do. We'll start on Helicam. We will watch P4, which at the moment is Paul Sadlowski. The reason why we watch P4, you get a good view of the people at front and further back. You think Dan will win this? Okay. I think it's going to be very, very tight. The good thing with Dan, or let's say the strength that Dan has, he's able to practice a little bit more than Matt. Oh, I say a little bit more, a lot more than Matt. So I think you need to take that into consideration. And I think it will come down to pit stops here and strategy, personally. So, no driver steward for this race. No restarts if there is a monumental pileup, so let's just hope that everyone plays ball. I don't know what that was that fell, but let's just hope that nothing's going to break on my computer now. Alright, so final round ready to go from Imola, last season of RTO and ACC, and we're about to go green as soon as they cross the line. And there we go, they're off. So the Honda does get a much better start than Dan. So Dan's actually have to defend as they go into turn number 1. It's a bit further back. Sigurd Refsvik is in front of Paul Sadlowski. They're going to go side by side into turn 1. No contact needed. Dan is giving both each other some space, but it looks like Dan is going to make it stick. In turn 1, the McLaren's going to run wide. That's going to allow Ben Nergaard to look up the inside of the McLaren. A bit further back, it looks like we've had no contact so far. And Levy Jennings is up to P10. So I think that's a good move from Levy Jennings. What we'll do, sorry guys, I've completely messed up with this. I need to do something here for you. This gives you your movers and shakers at the start of the race. So you can see, oh, what has happened? What's happened to Dan Watts? Dan Watts is now P4. Oh no, there's absolute carnage. Absolute carnage. What has happened? We need to watch this back. So Dan gets the lead as we go into the hairpin. Oh, and they make contact. They make contact. So Dan has to take to the grass. And then, and then it's 3 wide with a Mustang on the grass. And then it's lots of banging. Dan turns in and there's 2 cars on his inside. And then he can't stop and he barrels into his teammate. That is absolute chaos. Look at the championship change now. Matt Whitburn is out in the lead. And that's going to be game, set, and match, I think. Because I'm not sure I don't care how quick Dan is. I don't think he's going to have the chance to go on and win this race unless something really bad happens to this man, Matt Whitburn. That was absolutely insane. So, Sigurd Resvik going to chase down the Honda. Resvik managed to keep it clean, keep his elbows out the way of everybody. And then, I think, going 3 wide, Liam Page with Paul Sadlowski. I don't think Dan knew he was there when he came back on, when he meant to move over. Didn't realise there was 2 cars on his inside. And that is a massive mistake. And, yeah, now it'll just be down to see who is the quicker driver. But this man, Van Sader in the BMW, putting challenges in on the pros. Absolute hero of a drive here. And is in P4 leading the silvers. Tom Lesser in the BMW a bit further back behind Maxime Roland, I believe that is. It is, yes. And then Tom Solis, you can see so many people have made changes up the grid. And Dan Watts down 18 positions. That is not good. That is not good. And I don't even know if it's worth even just taking a pit stop early, repair the damage and get out, because I think he'll end up in traffic. He kind of needs to just follow everybody at the moment and come back with it. So we'll have a look and see where they are at. Thomas Loverick get a good start in the AMS, up to P11, still P1 in the championship. But tell you what, look at this guy, P3 at the moment in AMS, looking for a podium in the Porsche. He's got, who's he got behind him? Paul Cook in the silver, so he's not racing him, but he is racing Simon Crett in the BMW. Paul, what happened to you, mate? I don't know. I haven't looked at it, mate. I don't know. I think he turns in on Dan, but when I watched it back, I can't make a decision with one look, mate. And it doesn't matter. He just needs to race. So, Paul Cook looking to make a move on the Porsche. And he does up the inside. This is not for position in class. And sure, given a lot of space, that's going to really hamper him. Kind of want to just let him go because you've got the Beamer of Simon Crett. Well, maybe you don't want to let him go, actually. And who's that going very slowly? I think that is Paul Whitburn going very, very slowly there. Oh, and no! What's happened there? What has happened to Shaw there? He's gone really, really deep. Did he make contact? Oh no, he's gone right over the curb. And luckily, doesn't end up in the wall, but manages to keep it out of the way of the 2 drivers, Liam Page and Dan Watts. In front of him, Dan Watts all over the back of the Mustang. Even with the damage, Dan is really putting some... You can see the pace he's got over the Mustang. Just able to place it where he wants. And Liam having to defend as they come up into the hairpin here. Dan will be able to take the race in line, which will give him a bit better exit. And he does, because the Mustang is now on the curb. So this will be a move done. You can hear the Mustang on the right-hand side. He's going to have the inside as they come through Ravazza. And I think that is the job done for the BMW driver. Dan now up, and that was an important move if he wants any chance. There's still a long way to go in this race. Anything can happen. Yeah, now he's onto the back of the silver drivers. Right, let's get you some, instead of position deltas, let's get you some race gaps. So you can see where it's all going. James Rawlins looking like he is moving after Tom Solis in the silvers. He's P4 at the moment, looking to move up into the podium places. Ryan McCord has lost a position to him at the start of the race. Levy Jennings really needs to move forward if he wants to beat, because this is, at the moment, as far as I can see, Van Sander is leading the championship at this time. So this is huge. Ryan McCord holding up Levy Jennings at the moment. Levy needs to really make a move. And I tell you what, let's have a watch. He's all over the back of the BMW as they look up the inside into Perialta. It's not going to happen there. That is not an overtaking place. Thomas Lovric sitting in the Porsche watching all this happen in the AMS. He's got Christoph Holzer behind him 4 seconds further back, so he's got plenty of time behind him. Doesn't need to get caught up in this, although he is just racing for fun as he is the championship leader. And, sorry, the championship winner of the AMS. And Levy's now having to defend on him, so this is not helping Levy. This is not what he wants at the start of a race. He wanted just to have a nice, clean start. And it was the pros that came together and ruined it for everybody else. That's what I'm going to say. Sigurd Refsik, 0.3 back from the leader. That is a battle that's going to happen all the way through this race. We'll keep an eye on that. Matt Whitburn does put in the fastest lap of the race, a 39.84. And refs did a 39.7, but I think he went wide somewhere because he did not count. So he did do a bit of a quicker lap. And I need to take a drink before I end up not being able to talk to you guys for the rest of the night, which probably wouldn't be a bad thing, right? So still looking at this battle. Levy Jennings in the silver. We'll come back to that in just a second. Let's have a look and see what's happened here. Dan Watts is now up in up another place. Paul Cook is passed and he's now on the back of fellow BMW driver Lucas Tresser. And he's dropping the Mustang of Liam Page. Liam not having the pace. Maybe he does have more damage after that contact. Sokolovsky doing a good job. He was saying he wasn't happy with his quali in the chat, but up into P19 overall. That's a really good few gains. He's not last in the AMS at all. Dan Solis and Short and Daniel Zlatnik are behind him. So this is a really good first part of the race. Keeping his nose clean, keeping it on the track, which is really important if you really want to make any inroads into a championship. Refs has dropped off the back. Ryan McCord has lost it somewhere. What has happened there? Let's see if we can watch this one back. Not that I want to, because it's an RTO driver. Daniel Solis and Mikhail Sokolovsky have made... well, actually have come together. That's why you got your exclamation marks there. So he's going to ride it over the curb. I think he's going to lose it through Aqua Minerale. Is he just going to lose? Yeah, he's going to carry way too much speed in. And as much as the Beamer is a drift car, nope. That's not the way to go through there. Brian, how we doing? Good to see you. It wouldn't be a bad thing. I thought so. I knew that. Refs is now on the back of Matt again. So Refs, I tell you now, Refs is the fastest driver on the track at the moment. You might not say it in the timings, but he was 8 tenths off the back of him on the start, middle way through that last lap, and he's now on the back of Matt Whitburn, driving with a smile on his face tonight. You can tell Refs is all over it, and yeah, it'd be really good to see. Matt doesn't necessarily need to fight him either. Matt can just let him go if he wants, because at the end of the day, he just needs to finish ahead of his title rival Dan Watts, and he will win the title today and be crowned undisputed ACC RTO champion in the pro category. Tom Lesser is all over the back of Maxime Roland at the moment as well. This is a really strong showing from Tom Lesser in the BMW. BMW drivers showing that the car really suits this track. And yeah. Ninja, how you doing, man? Good to see you. And there's a blue flag there. Who are we getting a blue flag for? Strange. Who has taken... has anyone taken pit stops yet? Oh yeah, Ben Nergard and Paul Whitburn have stopped. So they have all stopped. I'll tell you what we do need to do, and I'm going to do it now. Ignore Ben Nergard's and Paul Whitburn's, because they have stopped. But the rest of the guys have got the one next to them now, so you can see they haven't. Matt Whitburn has lost that lead. He has lost the lead. And we've missed out at the start, although he's going to fight it back into turn number 1. And are they going to make contact? No, he does finally just give that place up. And then Revs has the decency to slam that door in his face. But the Honda's not going to give it up as they come up to the chicane. And he's now all over the back of him. But Refs is so quick here. I've never been able to keep up with that man here. He drives so well. When Refs is on it like this, it's an absolute sight to see. Not many people live with him. And we know how fast Matt is. And it's great to see Refsvik having a good race. I'm doing really well, Ninja. How are you? Hope you're good. Hope everything's good today. And once again, Matt, and you can see now, Matt is now dropping off the back. He's nearly a second off the back, although that is very wide there from refs. But yeah, and he's lost a bit of time there. He had to lift. You can see the gap has come right down. He didn't want to get another track limits violation, because it's easy to get them here, and if you do get them, you end up with a drive-through penalty, don't forget, and that's not something you want if you're leading the race. This is a good scrap. I think this is going to be a good race battle, this one. How is the other protagonist for the championship? Dan Watts is in P11 at the moment. He's actually lapping on the leader's pace at the moment, so it's not like he's lost pace, even with that absolute, well, I mean, he really did collect Ben Nergard when he came onto the track. It was not great, and don't forget, first lap incidents will be treated harshly, so it depends on what happened there, if there's any reports given, because yeah. He's behind Thomas Lovrick. And Levy Jennings has got up into P5, but he still needs to find 3.3 seconds to Rawlins, and then he needs to get to where Tom Solis is. He needs a podium. So it's all going to come down to strategy and pit stops, I think. And Lovrick, yeah, just does not fight that. There's no point. It's a pro on an am, and there's no point in him trying to hold him up. It just affects his own race. Maxim Rowland's got a white mark against him. Not sure what's going on there. But Tom Lesser, 0.5 behind him at the moment, doing a great job. I'll tell you what, this is turned out to be the race of the season so far. Liam Page has finally got past Lucas Tresser. We've got some Alonso camera work there of trees. It's not what we want to see. 47 minutes to go. Still plenty of time to go in this race. You can see Ben Nergard has taken his stop. And who else have we lost? Have we lost Paul? I think we've lost Paul Whitburn. Oh no, wait. Paul Whitburn has taken his stop as well. He's still there, so I do apologise. Daniel Solis, though, behind Sokolowski, all over the back of him as well. Putting a lot of pressure on the Aston Martin driver. All right, how you watch? As long as you're watching, that's the main thing, Ninja. How are you watching, though? Please tell me it's on a 55-inch TV. This is the closest battle on the track at the moment, so we'll just keep an eye on this for a minute. Although James Rawlins is catching up to the back of Tom Solis, that's going to be a good scrap for the final podium place. And I tell you what, Levy Jennings will be going, please fight a lot, because I need you to slow each other down so I can catch up. 3.3 is the gap at the moment. What's the timings? What is the lap times from those guys? 41.3 last lap, 41.4 and a 41.5. So Levy Jennings a couple of tenths quicker on the previous lap. He needs to find a bit more pace though, because unfortunately that is not, although he is faster than those two drivers, but not a second. I mean, Ivan Van Sander is putting in pro level time race pace here. He's only 4 tenths off of the leader pace at the moment, and he just did his fastest lap of the race. He's only 1.7 back off of P3 in the race standings. That is incredible pace from the silver driver. Watching in a VR headset, that is definitely a different way to chase to watch this race, without question. Oh, he's going to send up the inside. I missed that. It's not. What the heck was that? And he's managed to get past. That was rubbish camera work. I do apologise. That was not meant to be the camera, but he manages to slide up the inside. And let's have a watch of it. No, we won't have a watch of it. It's already done. See, that's just what happens, right? If you have an idiot who controls the camera work, i.e. me. All right, Dan Watts on the back of Levy Jennings. Is Levy Jennings going to fight this? I think it'd be silly. He's catching the guys ahead of him, though. He's caught them by a second. Is that right? So, here we go. Let's see what the lap pace is on this lap, because I think that GTR... Wow, so yeah, he was a second quicker than James Rawlins on that last lap. He's just letting Dan go. He's not fighting that when he knows there's no point. But what he can do is maybe use the pace of Dan and obviously the pressure he puts on these guys ahead of him to see if he can make any inroads into into the two ahead of him. Obviously got caught up in something at the start of the race. Simon Kretz on a yellow flag. He has lost it somewhere. What has happened to Simon Kretz? That is not what he wanted. Let's have a watch of the replay here. We will be able to watch this replay. I clicked over 5 seconds. So down the main straight, he's got Ryan McCord in the RTO Beamer behind him. I don't think there's going to be a move going in here. I think he may have just overcooked it. Gets on the brakes. Yeah, he just doesn't manage to slow the car down. Carries way too much speed in, and Craig will be absolutely kicking himself for that one. That is not what he usually like. And look, this is how you do it, guys. Don't just fire it back onto the track into the racing line. Does a very good rejoin. Well done, Simon Kret, for that. So, where are we looking at? James Rawlins is still chasing down Tom Solis, who's looking for a podium place in the final round. He'll be happy with that one. So Tom Solis will have a, well, that would be 3 podium places. And I tell you what, if he didn't have such a bad result at Mazzano in round 1, he would have been in for the title here. So definitely something to look out for. When we move over to Evo, Tom Solis has been a very strong silver driver in the RTO leagues. Got to be different somehow. It's definitely better to be different than to be the same, my friend. I agree with you there. And I tell you what, Levy Jennings is really catching these guys. He is catching them. Although, yeah, no, last lap he was a couple of tenths slower. But, oh, that's James Rawlins going really wide. I'll tell you what we do need to look at. So, just to give you an idea, he has 10 points in the lead. Okay? If he finishes 3rd and Van Sander finishes 1st, they will be level on points, okay, in the Silver Championship. That meaning, just bear with me 1 second, it will be done on a countback. And Van Sander would have 2 wins to Levy Jennings 1, which means Van Sander would be silver champion at the end of this race. That is insane. So even if he gets to P3, he actually needs to jump Tom Lesser as well. So there is so much work to be done here. And the GTR around Imola isn't the strongest car. So James Rawlins has lost that position to Dan Watts. And you can see now how close Levy Jennings is. He was 2.5 back about 3 laps ago. He's now under a second. So, or just on a second back from the Aston Martin driver from SOP. And he'll be looking to do everything he can to try and jump him and get into that P4 place and then go after Tom Solis. If he can get to Tom Solis by the pit stops, I think he's got a good chance of catching Tom Lesser towards the end of the race. But he will need to find some extra pace in the pit stop or have a very good stop and hope that the guys around him don't. He needs to absolutely nail that pit stop if he wants to have a chance of winning the race. Winning the championship. Although one thing I will say, actually, mind you, that's not going to happen either. The one thing I haven't thought about is, let's face it, Evans Van Sander has definitely got the fastest lap of the race. Oh, that's very wide from James Rawlins through Aquamina Rana. That's going to give Jennings a chance as they come up to the chicane. Don't think he's going to send it there. One thing I will say about Jennings, he's a very, very, very calculated racer. He doesn't tend to just send it from miles back. Knows where to place his car and knows when there's an opportunity or not. So this is the thing now. He needs to make short work of that Aston Martin. And we know how fast that thing is in a straight line. In fact, both these cars in a straight line are pretty evenly matched. So, yeah, we don't want to... What he's going to have to do is hope that he gets a good exit from here. And he's really in the draft. So he might have enough here towards the end of the straight just to close up his, 0.4 back? Oh, that's going to be close. It's going to be very, very close. He is gaining. He's 0.3 now. It's going to be 0.2 by the time they get to the braking zone. Does he give it a send up the inside here? He's looking, but no, he thinks better of it. He needs to be a bit closer than that. You can see how quick that Aston Martin is in a straight line. Even in the tow, the GTR just couldn't get enough out of the final corner and down the main straight to trouble the Aston Martin driver. Just going back to what I was saying, Van Sander, if he actually, well, he's going to win if he wins this, he will also have the fastest lap. So that's 27 points, so he will win it. So he does, Jennings does need to finish P2 here if he's going to have any chance of winning the title for Silvers. And he deserves it on his race pace, I must admit. He's very, very fast. And that's very wide from both of them. James Rawlins. Well, you've bought all the game, James. I suppose you can use all the track and some. Oh, and that's wide. This time he knows he has to let it go. So, yeah, there you go. So that's Jennings. He will be loving that because that means he moves up into that place. And that's not lost him much time. So now he can concentrate on going after Tom Solis. It's 3.5 is the gap. What you want to do is watch that gap over the next few laps and see where we get to. So we'll keep an eye on that. Ryan McCord once again off in the BMW. He doesn't like Aqua Minerale, does our Ryan McCord. And that is an interesting rejoin. Careful of swerving like that. You've got a driver behind you. Although I think it is a lap car. It is Paul Whitburn, but it is a lap car. So let's have another little watch of this. So Daniel Zlatnik has managed to get up in front of Shaw in the Porsche. But this is a good little battle in the AMS for P5 overall. And Zlatnik looking for one of his better results in the championship this season. Zlatnik had a P2 in round number 3. Didn't manage to take part last week. But before that it was 2 P11s. So I'm sure he's looking for a much better result here. And he's just pulling a little bit of a gap on the Porsche driver. And Daniel Solis is behind these guys as well in the McLaren. Although now it sure looks like he's going to box. He's one of the first guys to stop. So he's doing an undercut. And it's a very, very early undercut if you ask me. I'm not sure that's going to work. Maybe he just took a lot less fuel at the start of the race to try and gain some positions. Ben Nergaard still in the Mercedes had to do a lot of damage repair in the pit stop. By my reckoning, it was about 20 seconds of damage that he had. And Paul Whitburn, 51 seconds stationary as well, so there's a lot of time lost there. So 42.4 was the travel time in the pit lane. You can add on at least 25 more seconds. So you're looking, well, just over a minute stopped. It's only a minute 40 to go around the lap. So you're nearly 2/3 around the lap before the guy comes up to the box. So that gives you an idea of what the guys are trying to see. So keep an eye on a few of these other guys. We haven't seen much of Maxim Roland. I just want to try and get through some of the drivers involved in this championship. So we've got Maxim Roland for Rebellion Autosports. First season with us, I believe. So great to see a new team and driver coming into us. What has gone on here? I don't know what the white marks mean on my thing, but yeah, around Tom Solis' name. But Liam Page ahead of Thomas Loverick, who's around about 8.6 seconds ahead of the nearest challenger in Lucas Tresser. Oh, he nearly ran wide then. You heard him just not accelerating at all. Just hoping the car would start to rotate. So, Evans Van Sander leading the Silvers. Absolute phenomenal job. Up in P4 overall, showing the real pace that BMW has. To give you an idea, he's only half a second. Just over half a second off the fastest lap. Alright, that's how quick this man is. Next time we see you in Evo, hopefully, Mr. Sander, I expect you to be running in the pros, sir. You are very, very talented, and we'd like to see that. And that's the only way to challenge you to move forward. Maybe means they're doing an all-white. They're doing all-white. Ha-ha! Spoon with all the jokes we like to see. Excellent. Dan Watts up to P7 now. So he's slowly catching up to the back of the guys ahead of him. And I mean, he's got a potential to get up behind by the end of the race. Maybe Paul Sadlowski. Tom Lesser has just let him go. There you go. There's no point in fighting that one. Again, that's silver on pro. So next challenger for Dan is a pro driver. So they're not going to be getting out of the way easy. Maxim Roland, a very, very good driver. And Simon Kret is in the pits. So pit stop starting to happen around about. This is when I expected them, from 33 minutes to about 27 to go. That's usually when we start to see strategies start to take place. And I tell you what, refs has made a mistake because this man is all over the back of him. Battle for the lead suddenly hopped up. That was a second, and refs is trying to break the toe. Even though that BMW is extremely fast in a straight line, you can see him just using unorthodox areas of the track to try and throw off the Honda driver as they get into the straight. He does a good job. And he only managed to gain just over a tenth in the Honda. I'm wondering if that Beamer is starting to run its tyres a little bit and the Honda's coming back at him now. Righty, I mean, if there's more curb there you could use, Matt, please feel free to do so. That was all of the curb and some. So we want to do, I'd love to do, if they actually have it, V8 supercars. That's what I'd love to put into as a league. And also, I mean, we'll probably still do your GT3s, but it just depends on what cars, to be fair. We don't know. We'll see what they bring out first. Our first ever league that we did, what the heck is going on there? Whoa. Sorry, my rig's coming apart. Yeah, it's not really. Oh, and this is really up the inside now. He's really pressuring Sigurd Restvik as they come into these pit stops. I'm thinking that maybe someone does something that the other one doesn't. So I think refs box and Matt stays out. Or maybe the other way around. I would be. I've got the pace here. If I was Matt, I'd be trying to make all the inroads I could. I'm not joking, you Spoon. I'd love to do law. I even mentioned it when about AC, about us doing it. But it was poo-pooed. Nobody wanted to do it. I was like, okay. I'd love to do some lawnmower racing. That'd be so much fun. Alright, let's put that back together. Right, hopefully that's now, nothing else is going to fall off. Or muscle roller. What about that? Should we do some muscle rollers? And now refs has managed to stretch his legs a little bit. I was expecting there to be a challenge into the first corner, but Matt got a little bit squirry coming out of the final two Ravazzas, or the final two corners. So, yeah. Daniel Solis. Something's happened to Daniel Solis. Oh, he's in the pits. I had a yellow. You can see it's yellow on the screen. Why is that a yellow flag? Come on, ACC TV. You're making me look like Murray Walker here. No, wait. Definitely not. All right, everyone is starting to box. Tom Solis, James Rawlins, Liam Page, all starting to take their pit stops. Ben Nergard, as we know, has already been in. Paul Cook has been in. Simon Kret has been in. Shord is in the pits now, along with Daniel Solis, although it's not showing a time. What has happened there? He was leaving the pits. Eh? What has happened to Daniel Solis? He was leaving the pits and then it jumped him back. That's really strange. I have no idea what's gone on there. Interesting. Well, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Daniel Watts. Dan Watts chasing down Maxim Rollins. Brought that gap down by a second in that last lap. And I think he's going to do a very similar thing on this one. He's in the 39s. Dan is in the 39.9 still, even with that damage, which is leader pace, guys. Oh, it's such a shame what happened, because it could have been a real good three-way scrap at the front for the lead. And I'd rather have seen Dan and Matt battling it out at the front for the victory, but we have been robbed that from this race with mistakes made. But one thing about Dan is he will congratulate Matt if he does manage to win this. Because, well, I'll tell you what, actually. Hang on, let's have a look at this, because he is really fighting back here. So what is the gap? The gap is 4 points. Okay, so let's have a look at the scoring. So you get 25 for a win, 20 for a second, 15 for a third. So he'd need to do the fastest lap, which at the moment Matt has, and he would need to finish exactly behind him on the track. So that, I tell you what, don't take that out from Dan just yet, because if he can catch Maxim, he can catch Paul, and if he does, that puts him behind Matt, and then he just needs the fastest lap of the race, which he's only off of by 0.04 of a second. So I would not put it past Dan to do that. And if he then finishes directly behind him with the fastest lap, he should win it by a point. That's all he has to do is win it by a point if Dan's good. So this is not over yet. This is not over yet, guys. Dan is absolutely on a mission. If he wins it from here, that is a championship drive. And anyone, anywhere, should be taking note of this, because he could have given up after that accident, because it absolutely destroyed his car. And is he going to take to the pits on this lap? No, he's not. He's doing one more lap. I guarantee you, he took a lot more fuel than most. So everyone's boxing. Matt Whitburn is now in the pits. Dan is now in the lead, where he's saying I should have been at the start of this race. And coming into the first corner, moving past the Porsche of Christoph Holzer, who is struggling in this race, P6. I expected him to be a bit further up than where he started. And he has done that, but he's not making inroads to the people I thought he would. He's chasing down James Rawlins in the SOP Aston Martin. So you can see all the boxes are happening. Daniel Slatnik in the pits at this moment. But definitely keep an eye on this battle. I'll tell you how fast Dan's been. Although I know Liam's been in the box and he's pitting, he's done his stop. But he's catching Liam Page, who he was fighting with after the accident. You can see the damage on the BMW on the side there. Refs won't be happy with the paint job. Refs is now on exit. Both these guys went in the box at the same time. So Matt is now directly behind Refs. Refs doing all the job he can do to go and win the race for himself. There is no team orders allowed, so he won't be moving over for either Matt or Dan. He's just doing the race for himself. And his box, so to give you an idea, he was 7/10 quicker in the stop than Matt. So there you go. And although he was also 7/10 slower too down the pit lane, so he had he was obviously a bit more cautious on his in-lap. And Matt, I'm wondering, has Matt got that is very quick. Although I say that Van Sander was very quick, and so was Maxim Roland, but he is the quickest down the pit. So at the moment, Dan is now in. So he is looking to come out behind Paul Sadlowski. That's where he needs to end up. So he's looking to come out directly behind this man. And then basically get past Paul. And again, Paul is not under any team orders. He is not allowed to just let him go. So he has to fight it. And then it's all down to who does the fastest lap at that point. So the race and the championship is still on. We will keep an eye on that in a second. Where is Dan? Is he on pit exit yet? No, he's still, wow. He is still stopped. So that's the front two going. Although, wow. Do you know what? I don't think he's taking tyres. I'm going to tell you now, I reckon he hasn't taken tyres. I think he's just going to try. And if that's the case, that's the wrong thing to do. Because I don't think he's going to put in the pace that he needs. I'll tell you in a minute. I know he must. No, he has changed tyres. So he's just there. You go. There's Paul Sadlowski in the distance. So he just needs to catch him. And if he's got a bit of a gap. So if he can bring the tyres in nicely, pretty quickly, he'll have a lap where he can use the new rubber to try and do the fastest lap of the race. And Matt Whitburn and Refs are both on quicker laps than they've been on before. So they might even lower the bar yet. So we will need to see where they put the bar and see where Dan can go after. To give you an idea, a 39.815 from Matt Whitburn is the current fastest lap. Dan's fastest lap with damage is a 39.852, 0.04 of a second slower. So that's all he needs to find at this time. And yeah, he will really do it. But I tell you now, I think Matt's just binned this lap because it's gone red. So I don't think he's... I think he just cut the track. So he's not going to do it on this one. What Dan will be hoping is his friend, Refsvik, will not put in a faster lap and take that championship point away. Although if he does finish third, then it's level on points. But so that would be the case. And if it is level on points, then let's have a look. Oh no, it wouldn't be level on points because it's 4-point swing. So yeah, Matt would win by a point. So he does need the fastest lap. Dan has to do the fastest lap. If he does that, then he's got a chance at taking away. And then Matt will have to start putting pressure on refs if he wants to win the championship. So still plenty to go. Van Sanders still in the lead of the silvers. Tom Lesser is in P2. Levy Jennings is now in P3. So that's really good for Levy. That's going to make him have a chance at getting where he needs to go. But he needs to catch. He's got 8.3 seconds to catch Tom Lesser. It's going to be a tall order because they're both very similar on pace. They're doing very, very, very similar lap times. So he's going to really need to try and drop that down by half a second or so if he's going to catch, if he's going to have a chance of catching Tom Lesser. And he is not someone who is slow at all in that BMW. Refs and Matt coming through some of the back markers. Refs is going, please, 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 for the love of God, get out of the way. Daniel Lightning does the absolute correct thing, just moves over, lets the guys go. He's not racing them. And they're coming up behind Paul, who is definitely going to get out of the way because that's his son in the Honda. So he's not going to get involved in that one either. Does a really good job of staying out of the way, not waiting to the apex or right to the corner entry. And yeah, doing the right thing. Liam Page on his fellow teammate at SOP, James Rawlins. So know each other very, very well. Liam struggling at the moment in that Mustang, which I must admit I was not expecting in this race. Especially when you got Paul doing a great job at the moment. I'm sure Liam will be kicking himself for the performance, but I'm sure he's had good fun fighting the people around him. Liam, I mean. Yeah, Ninja, look, we'd love to have you a part of the championship. And anyone else watching this, if you want to get involved with us, you're more than welcome. All you need to do is go over to SimGrid. Let me just give you the link. And this gives you RTO's link on SimGrid. Come and join us and keep an eye out for championships, which will come sooner rather than later. Once Evo is out and once we can start doing leagues, we will do them. We are looking to do them in LMU, but it will be driver or player base dependent. So yeah. So who do we think is going to win? Do we think Matt Dan's going to catch Paul and manage to put in the fastest lap of the race? Or do we think Matt and refs are going to just manage to just pull away a little bit? And do you think Matt can overtake refs before the end of the race? It's 0.7 of a gap at the moment. He's on a good lap this one. It was a second at the start. But I tell you what, guys. I tell you what. Oh, that was so close. The lap time was so close. He needed, like, literally half a tenth. Half a tenth and he would have got it. Yeah, refs is overdue a win. He's overdue an RTO win. So I'm sure he's... I'm just so sad that these three aren't fighting for the win, because it would have been an absolute tussle. Oh, Dan, that's not going to help you, mate. That's not going to help you. 4.6 is the gap. He's still... I mean, he needs to be doing better lap times, but he's only half a second quicker. I mean, if he does it at that pace, if he can keep doing half a second a lap quicker every time, then he will catch Paul by the end of the race. In fact, in... what's that? 6 laps. So yeah, he'll have about 3 laps to be able to do it, but he cannot keep making mistakes like that. He is still on a quicker lap this lap, but only by a couple of tenths than Paul. Matt Whitburn. What has happened to Matt? Matt has lost it. He is 4 point... What's gone on here? He's going to lose it over the chicane. Have to come up to Ravazza. Is he? What has gone on there? What's happened there? He's just started slowing down. Oh, I wonder if he's on 3 track limits, guys. Or is he on... What's happened here? What has happened? What has happened with Matt? Something has gone on. Oh, is he just letting Dan go? What the hell? What? I have no words. I am not sure what's gone on there. I think a debrief is going to be needed. Refs has done the fastest lap of 39.6. You are right. Okay, well, I still think there was a grandstand finish about to happen because Dan is on a good lap again. Paul will be thinking, I've just gained P2. And he'll be asking refs to do the same thing. Can you slow down now? Yeah, maybe he wants to fight for it at the end because it is the same amount of points between 2nd and 3rd, but not between 4th and 3rd. So that would make no sense. They'd have to both catch Paul and pass him. And trust me, that's not easy. Well, we'll have to keep an eye on that one. But I'll tell you what, Roland is slowly been catching up to Van Sander in the BMW and doing a really good job in this race. Keeping it nice and clean, both these drivers. Sander's not going to want to get involved in this. Jennings is still 7.9 back. Unfortunately, I don't think Jennings is going to win the title now unless something drastic happens to Van Sander in this race, these final 16 and a half minutes. But Dan March now in front of Matt Whitburn. So as it stands, Dan takes the lead and wins the title. Here we go down to Acqua Minerale. He's getting closer and closer as we get through the lap. I think Van Sander knows that he's got the title. Yeah, he's just lifted. I kind of guessed that was going to happen. You don't need to fight that if you don't need to fight it. And that's what happens when you have class racing. Nothing wrong with it at all. Dan was so close to the fastest lap again on that lap. He was 400ths back. So this is what I mean. He didn't need to do it. He did not need to do it. He just needed to concentrate on catching Paul. And then if he got the fastest lap of the race, that's it, job done. He's done what he needed to do to come back. And that would have been the fight of the century. The fight back that I've ever seen in our ACC or any league race, to be honest with you. And yeah, I think... I'm not sure what's going on there, to be honest with you. I get if Matt feels that he's the guy that's caused it all, that he's given it up. But race, guys, you know, anything can happen. At least wait till the final lap or something if you're going to do something like that. And Daniel's Lightning getting out of the way of the leaders coming through. But they are catching Paul Sadlowski 0.7 of a second in that last lap. Daniel doing a good job of getting out of the way of Matt as well. Thomas Lovrick. What has happened to Thomas Lovrick? What has happened to Thomas Lovrick? What has happened here? Holzer and Lovrick have come together. What has gone on? Oh, wait. They got Ben Nergard behind them. This is a three-way scrap. Oh, my word. This is not good. Ben backs out and watches this happen. Oh, and they get together over the curbs. And then Ben has nowhere to go. And turns around his teammate, Lovrick. Luckily, Lovrick's already won the title, so he's not going to be too worried about that. Matt Whitburn has just taken the fastest lap of the race. He's just done the fastest lap. Now that makes a difference. That makes a difference now. If he catches Dan and overtakes him, then we've got the championship back on again in Matt's favour. This is incredible. So there's 3 points difference at the moment. So at the moment there's a 7-point swing. It's now down to 5 points. So Dan would lead by 9. But if they switch round, it's a 5-point swing again. Which means that Matt wins by a point. So this is the race now for the pro title. It's not finished yet, Spoon. It's not finished yet. Trust me, do not leave because this is not done yet. I see what they were doing now. Matt knew that he could definitely get the fastest lap. It was all planned to bring you guys an absolute standing. It's not really. It wasn't planned. But it's livened up again. Raf's out on his own by 20 seconds. He's wondering where everyone went. And that was Paul just getting out of the way. The other thing here is if Dan can get... Because when they catch Paul... There's a conundrum here, because if they catch Paul and Paul just gets out of the way, then it's a 5-point swing again, either way. And it's... Yeah. So it's still not done. With Matt now having the fastest lap of the race... by over a tenth as well. I'll be shocked if anyone beats that. The 39.5 in the race. That is incredible. And Paul Sadlowski is 9/10 of a second a lap slower. By the end of this lap, these guys are going to be on the back of that Mustang. I said Mustang right for the first time ever this season as well. And yeah, if he gets in front of Paul, or if Paul holds them up and they start fighting, this is... I'm sorry, guys, we're not leaving this for now. Christoph Holzer is 0.4 behind Lucas Tresser. Thomas Lovrick still in the lead. Still in the lead of the AMs. Just Lucas Tresser 1 second behind. We'll have to keep an eye on that as well. Van Sander 13 seconds ahead of Tom Lesser. And Jennings is not making any inroads at all. They're lapping exactly the same lap times with under a tenth between them. So I'm finding, I think Tom has P2 done and Van Sander wins the championship on the final round for silvers, especially with the fastest lap. Dan really cutting across the curb there. 10 minutes then. Who settles this pro championship? Dan in the BMW, currently leading as standing the championship. Matt, the championship rival. 4 points in it at the start of this race. At the moment, there is a 1 point extra added. So yeah, so there'll be 5 points at the end of this race. But if Matt can get past Dan, it all switches round and he will be a point in the lead in the Stang. Let's get some onboards going in the Honda. I told you they'd be on the back of that Mustang. So if they both get past the Mustang, Matt needs to keep the fastest lap and get past Dan to win. If Dan gets the fastest lap, even if Matt gets past him, Dan wins. So that's the difference. It'll be a point. It's going to be the closest Pro Championship I think we've had in RTO in this final season. Oh, and the Mustang getting all out of shape coming out of Acqua Minerale. This is the view back from Paul Sadlowski. Oh, this is not good. I tell you, as I've said before, the person at the most disadvantage in this train is Dan Watts. He's got to look forward and back. The person with the most advantage is Matt in the Honda at the back of this chain. Oh my God, I thought they were going to touch. I thought they were touching then. That was incredible driving from both these drivers. And so, yeah, Matt at the back does have the most amount of advantage. And the second is Paul, because all he has to do is just make sure he races his lines. And look at the Honda. Look at the Honda. He's trying to make it happen on the BMW. The BMW trying to take the draft off the back of the Mustang as they get into the braking zone, and that's what saved him. But now he looks up the inside and he thinks better of it. The Mustang helped Dan there. If Dan did the right thing, he didn't try and defend. He stayed within the toe and knew that was going to help him. Technically, that's what he has to do now, is just defend the rest of the lap and down the straight. Just stay behind the Mustang. Just hope that Paul doesn't make any mistakes like that one. Or if he can make a move on him, get it up the inside and get it done. The front end of that Honda is doing so well under braking. Here we go. Here we go. I think Dan's got the chance. This is the move he needs. And this will be an absolute monumental comeback to get a P2. Although it was gifted a little bit. Oh, now the Honda's up the inside as well. He pushes the... and he does. He gets out of the way because he knows this is for the title. He doesn't want to cause a crash. And now that's it. So, at this moment in time, it's now... This is it. The race for the win is now down to these two drivers. Who is going to win? Whoever finishes in front of the other one basically wins the race if they get the fastest lap. That's how it works. Whoever gets the lead and the fastest lap wins. At the moment as it stands, if they stay as it is, with Matt at the fastest lap, it will be Dan's championship because he gets the most amount of points. You get 5 points extra, and you take 2 points off for a fastest lap, so that's 3 points he gains, and he's already 4 points ahead. But if he takes the fastest lap back and Matt finishes in front of him, he still wins. So that he can, even if Matt gets in front of him, if he does the fastest lap, which I don't think he's going to. This is the problem now, because Matt is going to have the toe as they come up into the first corner. Dan, why are you not defending that? You need to shut the door, Dan. Oh, he's going to try and run out there on the outside. The Honda's on the inside of him. They've got to make sure they don't touch this time. Don't clout over the curbs. And Dan does a great job of keeping that line. And Matt did very well to keep that under control as they went through the first chicane. And now Paul's all over the back of the Honda, making him look backwards. He wants something. He wants his P2 back. He doesn't care about the championship. He just wants his podium back. And he will do it if he can make a move and make sure that neither of these two end up making contact with it. Trust me, I'm sure he wants that P3 or P2 back. They're going to kill each other last lap. Well, Dan technically wouldn't care because he means he would win. This could be Senna and Prost at Suzuka. It's not going to be, because if they do, I'd have words. I'd give the championship to neither of them. Oh man, this is insane. This is great. I'm joking, by the way. Yeah, this is in great driving. Dan has got, the good thing is that BMW is so fast in a straight line, but the Honda. Oh wow! We need to watch that back. We need to watch that back. This is the onboard. Oh, he knew that he braked way too late. He knew he braked too late and he backed out of it. That gives Dan a respite for another lap. There's only 5 minutes to go. What's that, 4 laps? Maybe 3? Depending on when refs cross the line, although that was about 25 seconds ago. So yeah, I think there'll be at least 3 laps, maybe 4, depending on how quickly he crosses the line. And we need to keep an eye on that. But that gives Dan a respite for this lap. Now he can just concentrate on looking forward. And I tell you what, driver of the day for me, no matter what happens, Dan Watts takes that by a country mile for the comeback. Even if he didn't get the place given back by Matt, to finish in the podium places, because I think he would have caught Paul with just the sheer pace that he's got. And I think he would have definitely got back up into podium places. That is an insane drive, a championship drive. And Matt, I mean, he's done the right thing to give the place. I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know if he has, because I don't know if they made contact and it's caused the crash. So Paul Cook pits again. Oh no, wait, is that his first stop? No, he's already boxed. So Paul Cook is boxing. Oh, I wonder if he's got a drive-through for track limits. I think that's what that is. If he just drives straight through the pits, then we know that is what that is. On this lap, Dan is a little bit quicker than Matt. Still a second is the gap, but we're talking 100th of a second quicker at the moment. Is Dan. Matt is giving it absolutely everything he's got in that Honda. And it's a hero's drive anyway in that Honda because it's not the fastest car at the moment. And yet he's driving it. He's driving the wheels off that damn thing. But if you give Matt a shopping trolley, I'm sure he'd get it around the track quicker than most people. They are literally on the limit. This is an absolute final barnstorming reason that RTO do some of the best ACC League racing you'll find. And trust me, guys, when we move to Evo, I'm sure we will bring you even more action just like this. So definitely stick with us. So that lap, Dan extended his lead over Matt by 0.2 of a second. If he can find another 0.2, he'll take the fastest lap of the race. Well, I'm not sure he's even worried about that now. As long as he finishes ahead of Matt, he just doesn't want to make a mistake. But he knows he's got back markers coming up, so he needs to keep trying to get that gap a bit further up. Or get that Beamer up the road a bit further from Matt. He needs to try and clear him, because if he catches the back markers, anything can happen. And I think he's gone a little bit wide there, Matt. Sorry, Dan. Yeah, I tell you, Matt caught him by 0.3 of a second there. And, yep, the Porsche staying out of the way. That was really good from, I believe that's Nigel Woodcock. So, doing a good job getting out of the way, knowing that the two leaders are coming through. Once again, I know we're sticking with the RTO drivers, and I do apologise, but there is not really much else going on. Ryan McCord all over the back of Thomas Loverick, but that's not for position in the race. Ben Nergard also doing a great job coming back to P12 after being collected by Dan Watts in the first lap. Don't forget, there's penalties that can still come through from this, because the any reports that go in, although it is teammates on teammates, so whether that happens or not, that'll be. I mean, I don't get involved in that. If they want to challenge, then they challenge, but that's up to them. But Ryan McCord all over the back of Thomas Loverick as well. A bit further back in the AMS, Sogolovsky. He's got damage on the Aston Martin now, so obviously he had an off somewhere. Up in front of Paul Cook. Short in P22. Got a bit of damage on that Porsche as well. But doing a great little job. Daniel Zlatnik a bit further up the road. Simon Kret in the Beamer, who I thought would be having a good race in this one. Up to P3, did a good job. Tell you what we can do just quickly. Let's have a look and see position Delta. There's your Delta. So, yeah, he moved up 2 places. So did Tresser as well in this race so far. Zlatnik up 3 places. Solis, I don't know what happened with Dan Solis there. Very strange. Liam Page all over the back of Jennings. Jennings 7.7 back. Still not making any roads on Tom Lesser. He needs to hope that Tom Lesser has a bad crash or something. Not that we wish that anyone, racing gods. But we need to go back to this, because this is getting really, really close again. 0.3 is the gap Matt's got it down to. He was only a second. Sorry, he was only a 10th. He was a 10th slower on that previous lap, but Dan's made a mistake somewhere in this lap because he's lost half a second to Matt. Although he's managed to gain it back over the curbs of the chicane there. Last lap for Sigurd Refsvik, who has put in a dominant performance in this race, taking the lead from Matt after all the chaos that happened at the top of the race in lap 1, and is doing everything he can just to keep that where it is. 20.6 seconds is the lead. Dan Watts in P2, driver of the day for me though, no matter what happens. And this is the final chance he's got of doing it, and Matt is not close enough. He's not close enough. I tell you now, I wish we could have some BPMs going on here, because I tell you, wow, both their heart rates must be through the roof on who's going to win this. Don't tell me this doesn't mean anything to anybody, because this is bragging rights within the team as well. Dan Watts doing a great job, but Matt's been the ultimate team player to do this, though, if that's the case. I hope he didn't have an issue or something, because that would make it even worse. But I tell you what, they're coming up. They've got another back marker, though. This still isn't over, guys. This still isn't over. If the back marker gets in the way, Sokolovsky, I don't think he will. He's always got out of the way. He's done a really good job of just letting them go. But we'll see how he comes through and he gets through Acqua Minerale. We'll keep an eye on refs going through the final corner in a minute. We just want to see... Oh, luckily for Dan, because he ran wide. The Honda had the tail all over the place. Dan flashing the lights saying, please, please move. Please move. I don't want you in my way. Oh, and he goes off the track anyway. Please don't come back on the track yet. Well done. See, absolutely spot on. Let's keep an eye on this then. Refsvik coming across the line to win the final round of ACC Season 9. Great job from Sigurd Refsvik. What's going to happen behind them? I think, Dan, as long as he has a good exit on the final corner, I think he's got it job done. And championship win goes to Dan Watts. He wins the final league race. And Matt being an absolute champion and just being really kind and gifting that back to him. I must admit, I still don't know why, to be honest, but I get it if it's a team thing. But that is absolutely fantastic from these drivers. Van Sander coming across the line to win silvers and the championship for silvers. That is awesome as well. Well done, Van Sander. Fastest lap of the race for your class as well. And then we've got Thomas Lovrick, who's going to come across the line in silvers. But Levy Jennings getting pushed wide at the end there from Liam Page coming through. Jennings is trying to win a championship here, Liam. Didn't need to be so argy-bargy, I'm sure. But Levy Jennings now on the back end of the Mustang, not giving it up as he goes to pull out of the after toe. Not giving it up. But Jennings getting the job done. We'll have to see what it is on the countback. But from my understanding, I think Van Sander wins that. And that's one way to finish it, I guess. And this is the final standings that we wanted to see here. We've got the guys at the front. And let me just see if we can get more of a showing in here. So you've got all the drivers parked up on the gravel here at the end of the race. But yes, Thomas Lovrick is still racing, I think. Yes, he is. He's coming around the final corner. Him and Ryan having a good little scrap towards the end of the race as well. Missed that one, sorry guys, but that was a good little scrap. Well done for these drivers. Well done, congratulations to Thomas Lovrick. Already had won the AM Championship, but there you go. Both of these drivers coming through and finishing off the standings. All right, what we will try and do is I will play. We're not going to go off air just yet. We're going to do something slightly different. We're going to get the replay. Oh, no, we're not going to get the replay because I don't have the replay saved. So we're going to have to just bear with me a second while I get... there we go. Finally, these drivers get into position. It was all kind of told that was going to happen between the RTO drivers, but some other drivers have joined in, and very well done to them. Right, we're going to get the stand-ins done, and we will see how this championship finishes. So don't just leave. We will get that to you very, very soon. What I will do is if we do this, and I'll be back in a hot second. So go get yourself a drink and we'll tell you who has won provisionally the championships as at the end of this season.
Think about your future. You're getting twisted, think
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we have the results, the preliminary results of the championship. Obviously, any reports that come in over the next 24 hours, well, I say 24 hours, we need them in ASAP so we can get this done today, really. Any reports that come in, we'll be looking at ASAP so we get them done. And but the preliminary results are in, ladies and gentlemen. So let me just bring these to you. So give me 1 second. Let's just bring up SimGrid. And you can see Dan Watts at the moment is the champion for this season. He is 7 points clear of Matt Whitburn, who did an absolute sterling job this season. And Refs does manage to pick it up into P3. So it's an RTO 1, 2, 3. Liam Page in P4. The Silvers, which was the closest championship, it is Van Sander, who does win because of that final result and the fastest lap. That fastest lap, those 2 points, are what made sure he got the win outright. Otherwise, it would have been done on a count back. But with those 2 wins to Jennings 1 and the DNF. The DNF is what kicked, which is what Jennings has caused the biggest problem there, because obviously got disconnected. So that's such a shame. But technically, Sander didn't even start round 2, so it's very similar. So that just shows you how close those 2 drivers were in race pace across the season. Then you've got Christoph Holzer, does manage to finish in P3 above Tom Solis. And rounding off the AMs, we have Thomas Lovrek. Daniel Solis does manage to take P2. Great result. As that final 8th position was his worst result. Nige Wodka in P3, Lucas Tresser in P4, and Simon Kret in P5. So well done to the championship winners. So we've got Dan Watts, and we've then got Ivan Van Seder finally in the Silvers by 2 points. That is an absolute monumental championship. It's a shame we didn't have a few more rounds. Should we have a look? Let's have a look. No, you were not. So Kiss and Seppe Le Guin were the 2 bottom drivers, and then yourself, and you're only 1 point off of Shord. Shord manages to get P8 in the end there by finishing ahead of you in that final round of the championship. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We are over and out for RTO ACC Leagues. I just want to say thank you from everyone here at RTO for joining us throughout this journey of league racing on ACC. We are going to be doing more on AC Evo. Just keep an eye out on the Discord, and make sure you come and join us on the SimGrid, which I've already put in, but I will stick it in one more time. Bear with me 1 second. If I go here and then stick it in here for you, this will give you an idea of where we are at. So definitely get over and join us, and we'll get more seasons up and running in AC Evo, maybe even LMU or Le Mans Ultimate in the hypercars and the LMP2s and the GT3s and GTEs, probably more the GT3s. But yeah, definitely looking to do some more leagues on those. Yeah, you finished. Where did you finish? Wait, did I get that wrong? Sorry, hang on. Did I get that wrong? Yeah, Sokolovsky. Short finishes above you by 1 point. Because you finished in P7 and he finished in P6. I said that right, didn't I? Oh, correct. No, it's fine. Look, we'll get there. Don't worry. We'll get there. We'll be doing more. I need to really sit down and try and work out where we take this in regards to like the academy side and what we're able to do to help you guys moving forward. Because what I'd like to do with RTO, and it's something I need to get some help with, and we need to be able to find the right people to join us to do it. I'd like to really start pushing the academy side and helping you guys, which costs you absolutely nothing. It doesn't cost you anything. So because a lot of people out there, quite rightly, they ask for money for their time because, some of these drivers are pro and they take their own time out to do it. What we're trying to do is community side rather than doing specific individual drivers. So we do a group session and then encourage you guys to learn from each other and help each other out, because that's the easiest way to do it for us. But there may be a case where we look to do actual driver coaching. And if we do that, then, there may be another thought on that, but we'll have to see where we get to with it. But at the moment, it is exactly as we are at. But keep an eye on the Discord. Things will change over the next couple of months in the Discord. There's going to be a lot of changes going on in regards to the actual layout for Discord and how we approach the league racing and what we do and how we separate things out. And then obviously the academy as well. So I hope you guys will come and give us some love. I've got some shout outs to do for my team. Obviously we've said it, but Resvik, Sigurd Resvik, who won today's race, is the guy that does behind all the artwork. So if I just show you things like this, for example, he creates all of our banners and our calendars, and also the season 9 and 8 and 7 and 6 videos, which are all available on this RTO channel if you want to go back and watch them. And for me, they're some of the most crazy artwork that he's ever done, and I've seen in RTO, seen in ACC. So hats off to you, and thank you so much, refs, for putting in a lot of time. He does all of our liveries as well for our races, and he's started working on a concept for Evo and for other seasons, other championships that we run in things like iRacing and LMU. So we'll blanket it across the platforms that we use, so it'll be the same livery. And trust me, guys, when I say, I know our liveries at the moment look fantastic, but the ones he's working on at the moment look absolutely... Well, they blow these ones out of the water, and these ones are the best ones he's done. So definitely look forward to seeing what he's doing there. I also want to say thank you to Paul Sadlowski, as you said there, for the academy side. It really means a lot when you're able to look after them for me, because I just don't get the time with my streaming and work and everything. So Paul, I really appreciate everything you do there. And to the rest of the drivers in the team and the rest of the team members for joining us and keeping me sane. And because otherwise, without you guys, putting the show on with me, I wouldn't be able to do this. So yeah, and the biggest thanks is to you guys, the viewers, because without you, none of this happens. So without you guys coming to watch and support us and get involved with RTO, whether it's on the track or just watching, it doesn't happen without you guys. So to the drivers, to the viewers, to everyone in between, thank you so much. It means a lot to us, and we look forward to bringing you more action in 2025. But that being said, that's it from us. The final season is done. ACC is done. I will not lie, it is being uninstalled as we speak from my PC, and I'm moving away from it, and I will be doing iRacing and LMU moving forward, and maybe even dabbling in Ultimate Blister 2. So keep an eye out that on my streams. If you haven't already and you don't know who I am, then come and watch my absolute, I would say, a certain show with an S word, but trying to keep it PG. But there, come and join me on Twitch. This is my channel. If you want to come and give us a follow, we really appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you on there. I'll be on Tuesday on LMU, and we'll be doing some more LMU races on Tuesday. We also do Flight Sim, and there'll be some iRacing coming up as well on that channel. So looking forward to giving you a bit more diversity on what we do in that channel as well. But from me, from everyone at RTO, thank you so much for everything this last 9 seasons. And don't forget, we did the Porsche Cup season and the M2 seasons as well, and the GT4s. So it's not just 9 seasons. We've probably done about 13, 14 seasons over the last sort of 3 years. And it means so much to us that you guys have been a part of that. And also, for joined us, whether it's on the grid or in the chat, as I said before. So thank you very much. Have a lovely Christmas from us, from RTO, and I hope to see you guys in the new year. And that's it from us, and I'll catch you guys soon. Good night.